it's Samantha from Samantha's Designs. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be making a fun fold card called the Crisscross Fun Fold. I'm starting out with a 5.5 by 4.25 piece of cardstock, just the regular card base, and then these squares that are 3.5 by 3.5. These you're going to take and you're going to score right down the middle. Now I used my scoreboard here to do this, and what happened is I didn't get the tracks lined up on either piece, so I really should have used my paper trimmer. I could have done that much easier, but it's really not going to make a difference on this card because the parts where I skipped the track are going to be, I can put on the back of the card and they're going to get covered up with another piece of cardstock, so it's going to all work out. Now I'm making this card for a colleague who has retired. We've been working together for several years. I'm really excited for her, and I wanted to do something special, so like I do, I go on Pinterest and start looking for something that I want to do, and I stumbled across this one on Dawn's Stamping Thoughts. She's here on YouTube, so I'm going to put her links down below if you want to see her card that she made using the same technique or fun fold. So these two pieces, what we're going to, I scored them, and now I am burnishing those folds, making sure they're even, and using my bone folder just to do that. So really, trying to make a good crease. And I think I used pretty heavyweight cardstock here, which I don't think I would have done necessarily. And I have tweaked this just a little bit. So see, I'm making sure I'm putting the part where I skipped on the back so it can be covered up, and it's going to meet here in the middle, just like that. So, yeah, I'm going to use the Sincerely Yours paperback from Spellbinders. This came from their card kit of the month in April. Really like this card paper pack that they send you. Matched really well with that pink, so I'm just kind of flipping through trying to figure out what I want to use. I end up with this pattern here. And this sheet is going to be 3 3/4 by 4 7/8. Now, like I was saying, the card base is 5.5 by 4.25. She does not do that. Dawn did hers at 3 7/8 by 5. And I think I just missed that. I wasn't paying attention, but it worked out fine. The card looked really, really cute. And then I decided for my next layer I wanted to use silver. This is Recollections cardstock. It's a silver metallic, and this is cut at 2 5/8 by 3 7/8. And this is going to be a layer that's going to be on a belly band that we're going to make here in just a little bit. I'm trying to get the rest of my pieces cut here. This second piece of pattern paper here is 1 by 4.5. I used the same one that I used on the layering piece on the basic card or the card base. And this is going to be part of your belly band as well, and it's going to go over your vellum. So you are going to need also a piece of vellum. And I had some in my stash. The vellum is going to be cut at 1 1/4 by 10, and this is the basis for your belly band. Love vellum. I have it in my stash and I don't use it enough, so I'm glad, again, this is one of those things. I'm glad I found this pen, because it's making me use some things in my stash that I just don't pull out often enough. I feel like that way about all my stash. Do you do that? I mean, because I feel like I have so many things that I've never given anything the love it needs. I guess that's how I feel about it. Anyway, but that's okay. So now to cover up on the back side, you're going to need one piece of cardstock to kind of cover up those triangles. So that piece is I think I did 4 by 5.25, and it's just going to cover up the back and make it nice, and just make it prettier, basically, is what that's doing. So got all my pieces, get my trash out of the way, and then we're going to start doing a few things to put this together. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use Elmer's craft bond glue, and we're going to glue these in place. The reason I like using wet glue for this type of thing is it gives you time to wiggle things in place. Make sure you have it really where you want it, and you're not worried about, oh, this is crooked or whatever, even though I say that and I get things crooked all the time, and I just kind of go with it, because I'm not one of those people that crafts and everything have to be perfect. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but that's just kind of how I am. So I took it and kind of spread it with my fingers a little bit, because that glue was really thick. This is my bigger bottle of glue, so it's thicker for some reason than the smaller bottles I have. And then you're going to push that right up against that triangle, so it's got a really, really good fit. And then you're going to do the same on the other side. It doesn't matter what part overlaps what, because there's really not going to be anything on these that you're going to have to worry about that. Now, you could, to add to your design, you could stamp these little flaps. You could add a triangle of patterned paper. You could do whatever you want to. The sky's the limit. I pretty much left this part plain because I really wanted the focus to be on the belly band, because that's where I'm going to have all my really cute die cuts from Spellbinder's April kit as well. Or is it March? Did I use March or April? I want to think I used April. I'm pretty sure. I'm not really sure. I'll be honest, I'm not really sure. I think, now that I'm thinking about it, I think that's March. That's okay. You know, use what you have. And then I'm just putting a block over top of it, and that's just going to make sure the glue has time to dry. It, has something heavy on it. It's going to set really well, and so I love doing that when I have something that I've die cut or glued on for a little bit. I like doing that just to make sure everything is good. Okay, we're going to start layering some things up. So here's my silver piece of cardstock. I really need to make a decision about what die cuts I want to use, and I had some out on my desk from this kit that I've been wanting to use, and I had another thought for these, and then I decided, nah, I don't want to do that. So I'm just looking to see what is going to work best on my panel, what's going to look cute, what am I going to like, those kinds of things. And so I'm just kind of flipping through this, trying to figure out what I want to use. I know there's a bird in there. I'm trying to get the bird out. So there's my little birdie. And I am going to put a sentiment on this. Now, see, that's all that I had in the cup, and it was just way, way, way too crowded. So some of this is going away, and I'm just kind of figuring out, what do I like about it? What do I not like about it? Yeah. And it's taking me a while to make a decision here. So, tree's gone. I'm like, nope, not doing the tree. Like the bird. And I've decided I'm not going to do the pony either. It's just going to be a cute little rainbow with the sun and the bird flying around. And I'm good with that. I think that looks really, really cute. Now, the next thing about this is I realized, even though I love that silver layer, I wanted another piece of cardstock. I wasn't really digging that by itself. And so I had some scrap pieces, and I decided I was going to add another pattern to this. So this pattern paper was 3 3/4 by 2.5. I ended up cutting that down to add to this because I just thought it added a little bit more. The silver I really liked, but I didn't want just the silver. And then I'm going to take that pattern paper and I'm going to round the corners. This is my envelope punch board that I'm using to round the corners. And yeah, so I'm going to round these out and we'll be ready to go. Alright, we're going to get these all rounded out, and once that's done, I start looking through my plastic bin of die cuts and sentiments that I already have done. What I have here are sentiment strips and things that I made using my printer and Microsoft Word on Cricut cardstock paper. I love these things. I have tons of them still. I think I made this big pack maybe a year and a half ago or more, and I'm still using them. But it was hard because this wasn't cut very straight and I wanted to get it straight, so I'm making me a little bridge or a little holder, and I'm just taking a piece of white cardstock. I am going to add this to the back of this. I don't have the backing paper off or anything. I have just that little bit of tape runner, and I'm going to put it there to use it so I can get it into my guillotine trimmer to kind of straighten this up a little bit more, because it was definitely not straight. I'm really bad at cutting things straight, and if I'm not using a paper trimmer, it's not going to be straight. And sometimes that's fine, because sometimes you want things to have that little uneven artsy look or whatever you want to call it, and that works fine. But for this, I kind of wanted to be a little bit more straight, so I'm just using that as a handle. I learned this from Jennifer McGuire. I do not take ownership of this. And it worked really, really well. And then I can take this apart and then cut up the rest of it, because I want the 3 things. And what it says is, oh my goodness, what does it say? Something, you've got this, or you deserve, enjoy the ride, you deserve it, or something like that. That's sad, I don't remember. And I've already given the card, so I can't remember for sure. So hold on one second, let me check out what it says. Enjoy the ride, you earned it. Oh my goodness, why can I not remember that? Okay, now I'm taking the June kit, I knew it's June, from Spellbinders, and I'm using one of the sentiments out of it. I'm trying to pronounce that because I've got a bad habit of saying that wrong. And it says Bravo, because I thought that is perfect for someone who's finishing their work life. Bravo, you did a great job. You know, you're amazing. Whatever you want to say, you could do you're amazing as well. But I really liked that Bravo. I thought that was really, really clever. And I really wanted to make sure, she knew how much I appreciated her and everything that she's taught me, and as we've worked together. So now I'm going to start adding on those layers. So the first bigger piece of pattern paper that we cut, again, it was 3 1/4 by 4 7/8. I'm just going to use a little bit of tape runner, and I'm going to put this on front of the pink cardstock. And I'm going to center it the best I can. Like I said, I am not a measurer in whatever. Sometimes I try harder than others, but I try to get it as straight as possible. I figure it's good. It's good enough. I made it. I made it with love. If it's not perfectly straight, that's okay. Okay, so on the back, see how it's just kind of not pretty? That's what that piece of paper that you cut was for. That was 4 by 5 1/4. So for this, same thing. I'm just going to use a little bit of tape runner. I'm going to pop that on the back. And even if you stamped or did other things in the inside, you could use the back as where you write your personal message if you wanted to. But I'm just doing this just to kind of make this look a little more finished, because you don't want all the squares kind of glaring at you in the back, and somebody turn that over and go, what the heck happened back here? It's like cross stitch. You don't want to see everybody see the stitching on the back side. Ugh. I know I don't want anybody to see my stitching on the back of my cross stitch pieces. Oh my gosh, it's awful. But anyway, and here's one of those places I didn't get it straight, so I'm trying to pry it up before it's too late and it tears anything, and I just kind of move it over just a little bit, and just to make it look a little better. Okay, so now I have my die cuts down. I've got my sentiment on the panel that's going to be part of the little wraparound band here. So the nice thing about vellum is that when you're doing these kind of cards, and I'm sorry, I'm pausing a lot here, and I think it's because I'm watching YouTube as I'm doing this. But anyway, the nice thing about vellum is that you don't have to do a lot of creasing and scoring with vellum. You can just bend it, because it's just so easy. And since this is vellum and this is, I'm using some score tape here. I don't think you really need score tape, but it's what I picked, so that's fine. And the nice thing is that this part is going to wrap around and be on the front, so you're not going to see the glue or the adhesive, which is the hard part about vellum, isn't it? You're trying to always hide the adhesive because it shows through. But like I said, this is going to be on the front, so it's not a big deal at all. And I'm trying to get off the backer of this thing, which is always somewhat annoying. And then you're going to wrap this around, and you're just going to crease it with your fingers. It doesn't have to be a huge crease that is, done with a scoring tool. And there you have it. And that way it'll hold it shut, but it won't be too tight. You don't want to make it too tight, so when you put it on the vellum, just make sure you're not making it super duper tight. And then you're going to need another piece of tape here, and that's going to be on the front. And this is where you're going to put that 1 inch by 4.5 inch piece of pattern paper. I don't think I remembered this when I was doing it, and then I go, oh wait a minute, that's what the other pieces were. So I'm going to add a little tape runner to it as well. Alright, and then this is going to go just right on the top. Again, you could do a contrasting piece of pattern paper, but I decided not to. You could also put something there that you stamped if you wanted. Put a little tape runner. I'm going to put my little panel here that I made with all the die cuts on the front, and that is the card. I loved how this turned out. I've already given it to the recipient. She really loved it. I'm so glad. Guys, thank you for being here. Please think about subscribing. Leave me comments below. Give me a like. I would really, really appreciate it. And just, come back anytime. I love making cards, and I'll be sharing more with you. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. See you later.